Hello everyone! The Burning Legion has invaded Azeroth once again, and Druids able to pick up 4 different artifacts to empower them in this war. The Scythe of Elune is kept for Balance Druids, but this weapon carries an unsettling history, and those who are not careful enough, they can easily be overwhelmed by the powers locked inside. Thrawn the Whisperwind has authorized the release of the great artifact to aid our cause, while Valoran Steelbow, he's agreed to give up the weapon, which he has kept as part of an investigation into the cursed Worgen of Duskwood. We simply need to go there to pick the weapon up, an easy artifact quest, so as we travel, let's talk about the history of the weapon and its connection to the Worgen. Long ago, 700 years after the War of the Ancients, there was another war called the War of the Satyr. Night Elves fought against demons and satyrs, enemies left over from the War of the Ancients, and some felt that an advantage was needed to turn the tide of battle. R'hllor Fangfire begged Malfurion Stormrage to allow them to use their pack form, but despite the power that this form offered, it was uncontrollable, so their Shondo told them not to use it. One dire battle, the druids threw caution to the wind, and they slipped into this form, which allowed them to survive and win, but also had them turn on their own Night Elf allies. After killing a fair few of their own, some were able to regain control, and Arval, R'hllor's best friend, told his love, Balista Starbreeze, that he would never use the form again. He would not turn himself into a monster to kill the monsters, and this ultimately led to his own demise at the hands of satyrs and the creation of the Scythe of Elune. In her grief, Balista agreed to R'hllor's plan of combining the Staff of Elune, an item which held Elune's noble power and enchantments, with a Fang of Goldrin, which embodied the feral nature of the pack form. Legends told of Elune's desire to tame Goldrin's ferocity, and perhaps with this combination, they would be able to soothe the chaos of their form, use it as they desired to satiate their vengeance. Instead, what happened was that Goldrin's essence rejected the Moon Goddess, and the ritual backfired, turning R'hllor into the Alpha Prime and creating the Druids of the Scythe. Their feral nature had taken them over, their bite now transformed others into their Worgen form, and R'hllor did not only turn against the satyr, he once again struck out at his own people, believing that Malfurion was responsible for his best friend's death. In the end, Malfurion used the Scythe of Elune to banish R'hllor and his fellow Worgen to the realm of the Emerald Dream, where he hoped that they would remain pacified at the base of the majestic tree called Daral Nir. Malfurion himself was brought there before by Cenarius, when he too had experimented with the pack form long before R'hllor had. This great tree was able to bring Stormrage back to his senses, but the Scythe of Elune had perverted their ways. The form they now held was beyond druidism, so bringing them back to their senses was out of the question, but at least the tree could keep them pacified. Slumber instead of execution. It seemed like a better option, but to the Worgen, it was torture. They were meant to run, to hunt. You cannot tame what is meant to be wild. But for millennia, they were forced to slumber within the Emerald Dream. Shortly after the War of the Satyr, the Scythe of Elune vanished until it was rediscovered thousands of years later by Valinda Starsong, a Night Elf priestess. Desperately seeking a way to overcome yet another incursion of demonic forces, Valind prayed to Elune for aid with his task and was eventually led to a book in Darnassus, set there by Fandral Stackhelm to expose the mistakes of Malfurion. It explained the War of the Satyr and the Scythe of Elune, which was entrusted to Valind's own aunt Malfendris. She found the scythe buried with Malfendris at the shrine of Malfendris, and she channeled its power to call forth the Worgen from their place of banishment. At first, things seemed to be going well. The Worgen, although primitive, they proved to be powerful allies, but she soon discovered that the Scythe was summoning more Worgen all on its own. It no longer needed Valindre to control it, so she sought help from a human mage called Arugal, who was said to have also summoned Worgen. En route to find the sorcerer, she was attacked and killed, and the Scythe was lost to history once again. Throughout its history, the Scythe of Elune has changed hands many times, and it has been mentioned in bits and pieces all over the lore ever since the classic days. There was Jitter's journal in Duskwood, in which he found a weapon in an old mine called Roland's Doom. They retrieved the scythe, only to be attacked by Worgen, and Jitters barely escaped with his life, but the scythe was lost as he ran out of the cursed mine. Then there's the Dark Riders comic, in which Archmage Carlane, he rushed into Roland's Doom as they were being chased by the Worgen. There they found Carlane's son, held by clawed Worgen hands, knelt beneath the blade of what he would come to know as the Scythe of Elune. The beasts were performing some profane ritual on his boy, an initiation of sorts, to enlist him in their wolf cult. As I watched, helpless to intervene in time, the wolf cult's leader's glistening fangs sank viciously into the bare shoulder and chest of my only son. With a gut-wrenching cry rising in my throat, I attacked. With Carlane was a priest named Revelcost. His family was slaughtered by Worgen, and with the death of Gervase, the leader of this wolf cult that was performing the ritual, he finally found rest and he picked up the scythe. Their adventures led to them meeting up with Brink Spannercrank, an SI7 rogue on a mission of retrieving artifacts. Together, they ventured into the Tower of Karazhan, where the Dark Riders had collected several artifacts, and at the end of the tale, as the Dark Riders were defeated, as they located these artifacts, Brink took the scythe and he brought it to a Night Elf, most likely Forlorn Steelbow, who then brought it to Ballistra Starbreeze, the same Ballistra who was responsible for the scythe's creation to begin with. This brings us to the Worgen starting area experience, in which the Worgen, summoned by Arugal, they were becoming a big problem for Gilneas. Elfer Prime, also known as Ralar, was leading them, and again they were spreading the Worgen curse, this time amongst the Gilnean population. The Forsaken momentarily stole the scythe, but adventurers were able to reclaim it. Ballistra tried to banish Elfer Prime back to the Emerald Dream, but she was stopped by a Forsaken Dark Ranger. The Priestess might have lost her life to Elfer Prime that day, was it not for the spirit of a beloved Arvel that showed up and kept the promise he had made so long ago. The people of Gilneas would go through their own ritual to gain control of the Worgen curse now lurking within. They would join the Alliance, and now at this point, in Legion time, we're ready to try and use the scythe and keep balance while wielding it against the Legion. As we go through the documentation of the weapon, there is one final note from Ballistra Starbreeze, which says, Arvel, there's not a day that goes by when I do not think of you, my love. The sacrifice that you made so long ago, and your reappearance in my hour of greatest need. These are never far from my mind. I vow to you that I will atone for my past indiscretions, for my role in unleashing the Worgen curse upon the world. I will find a way to set matters right. As I write this, I prepare to travel with Forlorn Steelbow to Duskwood to further my studies of the Worgen. I pray that your spirits will forever guide my heart and my hands. Perhaps at last, with the help of the Scythe of Elune, we will find a way to grant those who are afflicted with the Worgen curse the one gift that matters most. Peace.
Our champion arrives. We have been sent by Tyrande, bearing a weapon that may turn the tide of this war. You must take up the Scythe of Elune, champion. May its power serve you well.
The scythe belongs to Karazhan, worm.
Forlorn, no! He's gone.
Seems like the Dark Riders are still out in force, claiming artifacts and bringing them back to Karazhan. The Dark Riders were once merchants, foolish enough to try and sell counterfeit artifacts to the Guardian Medivh. Medivh at the time was under the control of the Dark Titan Sargeras, someone that you don't want to mess with, and he cursed the merchants, forcing them to ride out and collect artifacts of legitimate power and bring them back to the tower. This is why several of the class artifact questlines lead into Karazhan. Now in the comic that I mentioned, Revel and his party, they went on a mission of taking the Dark Riders down, but it seems like they're not vanquished quite yet, so who better to recruit for help than Revel himself?
First the Nightbane are driven mad, and now a druid comes to investigate Manor Mistmantle. This can only mean the Scythe of Elune has returned to Duskwood, and the Dark Riders cannot be far behind. Tell me what you seek, druid, and I may be of assistance. What do you need? It seems you've been followed! Dark Riders! The battle is won, but there will be more. Quickly, to Eridan's camp! Eridan was the first of the Dark Riders, and I believe he leads them now. His camp is still in Deadwind Pass, strangely untouched after all these years. If my convictions are correct, the key to finding the Dark Riders, as well as the artifacts they still covet, can be found there. Riders on our flank! Be ready! Let us press on. We are nearly there. Here, the camp is in this clearing. Let us search it.
This is the place where the merchant Araden set up camp while he was trying to apply his dubious wares to the sorcerer Medivh. We search the place and we find a relic box. The box contains various magical looking trinkets and baubles. Upon close inspection, these relics appear to be nothing more than clever forgeries. A compass. The compass is old and weathered with use. It appears to be malfunctioning. The compass arrow is erratically changing direction and never settling at true north. A fur blanket. The bedding in the tent has been undisturbed for quite some time. And then some fine boots. These boots are in surprisingly nice condition for their age. It's odd that it would still be left here after all these years.
Turn away now, interloper. The horrors of the past will be your undoing.
I think that means we're on the right track. See what you can find in that journal.
Dark energy hums from the journal, which appears to be the writings of Eredin and chronicles his time in Deadwind Pass. One entry in particular stands out. The Nightbane have become restless of late, and whispers are abound of the Scythe of Elune having left Darnassus. It must be coming nearer, for the Worgen are constantly drawn to it. They will lead me to it. Those cursed night elves think that the weapon is safe in their care. They will soon find how wrong they are.
The Worgen led you here as well. This must be where the scythe is kept. Go in ahead, Druid. I will join you inside. Take care. There is a dark energy emanating from the spirits of this place. We had best not get too close. How far down is this place? These stairs seem to go forever. The way is blocked.
Intruders! You will go no further.
Hold! Those spirits he's controlling look like they'll rip us apart. We have to figure out a way to get past without being torn asunder. We should try to find a way to stop his channeling.
Do not think you have won. Conservator! Do your duty!
Keep your guard up. I fear Eredin is not done with us yet. The artifact chambers look to be just ahead. Let us proceed. Over here! Is this the relic you seek?
So this is what you're after. The artifacts of Karazhan belong here. And I will not allow them to be taken away!
You have no right to these artifacts, fiend. They must be reclaimed in the name of the light!
Your light does not reach here, priest. If you want the Scythe, Druid, come and claim it!
Quickly, after him! I will only slow you down!
You are a persistent one. Face the fury of the beast! Very well. If you so thirst for the power of the Scythe, then I will show it to you myself! What trickery is this? I will ride again.
It is done. The Dark Riders are defeated. Now I can reclaim these stolen artifacts and return them to their rightful owners. You have proven an unexpected ally. The weapon is yours. Let us hope it can turn the tide in this war. The Dark Riders lost this battle, but I fear they will soon regroup. We had best be gone before they do.
And so, we claim the Scythe of Elune, an artifact with a massive history behind it and several previous owners. Hopefully, we'll be able to do better with it in our war against the Legion, keeping balance between the spirits of the wild god Goblin and the blessing of the goddess Elune. Who knows, we might actually be able to soothe some feral spirits and grant them the only gift that matters most: peace.
Elune be praised!
Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one. And until next time, guys. See ya!